And in order, if you want something different, then you must choose something different. And I keep saying that to myself every day leading up into moving into 2025. If I want something different, I must choose. I get to choose something different. And you choose something different by really getting clear on what worked and what didn't work. Welcome to another episode of the Be.She podcast and happy new year. Happy 2025. I really hope that you had a wonderful, blessed holiday with your loved ones. You were able to have some time, downtime to just relax, spend some time, laugh, and celebrate the holiday season in the best way possible for you. And for if you weren't able to have the best holiday ever that you've had, then because I know for some of us, I've talked to some people and the last couple weeks moving through the holiday season, moving into a new year has been a bit of an emotional roller coaster for some. And if that's you, I just want you to know that you're not alone. Many people are moving through that same process that you're moving through. And for some people, you may see on social media that some people are celebrating their best year ever in 2024 and listing out all the things that they got to do and what they got to see and the traveling they did or the results that they had maybe in their business or the connections they made with loved ones and family. If you are out there listening and you're like, I don't feel like I accomplished something, then you're not alone. But I want to share with you that you did create and accomplish things. Sometimes when we look at it when we look at it from the inside out, we may feel like, you know what did I accomplish compared to these other people that are sharing all of this on social media? And I promise to you that there are things that you accomplished. And there's probably some challenges that you have moved through well. And many times we can sit here and focus on the challenges versus focusing on the things that we did achieve, the things that we did create, whatever that looks like. And just because somebody created some type of magnificence in their life this past year doesn't lessen the magnificence that you've created for yourself and in your life. So I'm going to share with you some things that we've created and some big challenges that I faced as well. So you can hear, you can hear that it's not all cupcakes and roses and sprinkles all the time. There are a lot of things that a lot of people are moving through. For me, I will share with you the things that I am celebrating from 2024 is the results of our podcast. This podcast has reached the top 10% globally. I was not expecting that. Was not on the radar, but people reached out and they said they knew before I did. So I am celebrating that. And I want to share with you that I want you to celebrate your wins too, whether you realize them or somebody else had to bring them to your awareness. Celebrate those wins no matter how big. So we are celebrating that big milestone that was not on our radar for 2024, but I'm super grateful and appreciative. And I just want to say thank you to you for listening and for downloading and for being part of our journey. And if you feel this podcast has supported you through your journey in the past year, please, please, please share it so we can impact and make a difference for more people in the world, empowering them to be seen, to be heard, and to create whatever those big goals and dreams are for them that they want to create. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being here and thank you for sharing it. Another thing that I am celebrating is we're pivoting a little. We're bringing in a new area into our business, which is a done for you type of system, and we're really excited about that. So we're adding an agency onto our business. So we are still coaching, but that being said, we are also adding a done for you piece where we are supporting business owners and growing their visibility and growing their revenue and scaling in 2025 through launching podcasts, through podcast producing, through media exposure and getting you in the media or businesses in the media so they can reach broader audiences. Podcasts are not slowing down at all moving forward. If anything, they are getting bigger. And the revenue availability and capability and possibility through podcasting, whether you're guesting or whether you have your own podcast, is just the potential is astronomical. That's all I want to share with you. There's so much opportunity out there, not only with reaching a broader audience, but you can create new clients and also create new relationships and connections and partnerships with the people that you're collaborating with, whether they are coming onto your podcast or whether you are going onto their podcast. Another thing that I'm celebrating is the personal work that I've done throughout this year, the personal healing journey that I was on. I haven't really, I've shared things about my past on this show, and I will share more as the 2025 unfolds. But there are some things that I needed to move through and heal through from my childhood that I have worked with some worked with people moving through this, and it's been a tough journey. This year has been filled with ups and downs for sure. Part of the challenges were around my personal healing, and some of the celebrations are around the personal healing that I've done. I feel like I'm much more emotionally mastered, and I'm much more communicative, and I'm much more open because I did the healing work that I've done. And but that being said, the healing work that I've done is fantastic. And there's still more to go. And I'm looking forward to expanding on that and going deeper in 2025 through this healing journey. And I'm doing this for me, and I'm also doing it for my children, for my relationship with my children, and for healing generational trauma to come, or any healing that they may needed to have worked through because of the healing. If I didn't heal it, it would be, they would be dealing with it too. So I'm doing this for me, and I'm also doing it for them. And some of the challenges I went through, these are not things that I've talked about over this past this in during this podcast this year, but I don't know if you know, but I this year with my vehicle, I had a lot of challenges with my vehicle. I was rear-ended 3 times in the past year. It started last Thanksgiving, where I was traveling the day before Thanksgiving and had to cancel my trip because I was in a 4-car accident and rear-ended. And then moving into January of 2024, pretty much launched the year with another rear end in a hit and run. So literally with less than 24 hours of getting my vehicle back, I was rear-ended again, and it was a hit and run. Luckily, thank you to this, my God and whoever was watching out for me, but they found him. So that was all good. And then about a couple months ago, right before the year was about to end, my daughter and I were at a stoplight, and this all happens when we were at stops. It's not like I slammed on my brakes and then was rear-ended. I was at a stoplight for the last 2 accidents. The first one, I was on the highway the day before Thanksgiving, and we were at a stop, and it was 4 cars. We were rear-ended. So the last one was my daughter and I were at a stoplight. We had a great day together. She was actually doing my some branding photos for me. We had a great afternoon, and we were sitting at a stoplight, and we were rear-ended. And it got to be her first experience of being rear-ended in a vehicle, and she's learning to drive now. So I'm really happy. If that had to happen, it happened with me. So I take that blessing away. And each time the vehicle's been fixed, and I would have to say each time, thank God there's been no major injuries. So I'm very blessed and very grateful for that. So even though I dealt with the trauma and the shock of this happening 3 times within the past year, I still am also grateful and feeling very blessed that everyone was okay overall in each of these scenarios. It could have definitely been much worse. And I got to look at it and go, why is this happening? Right? What do I need to look at in my life of why I'm getting slammed from behind 3 times? Like, obviously, there's something that the universe, God, is trying to show me that I need to either fix or clean up in my life, or look at and go deeper with, because I'm getting these 3 bolts, these 3 shocking bolts of wake up calls in my life for some reason. So I've got to do a lot of, deep diving and reflection on that as well, which was beautiful. So along with the challenges came growth and appreciation for us all being okay in the end. Some other challenges were, maybe for many of you listening, financial challenges. Building a business isn't always easy, and many times we can hear all the good stuff that's happening for people in the online space, like, oh, I made this much this month, or I made this much that month, and you hear all about that happening. And for many entrepreneurs, depending on what stage you are, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be peaks and valleys where you have some great times in your business, and then there's going to be some other times that are challenging, and you get to like look at that and learn and grow and move through it. And that's some of the things that we did last year. 2024 was definitely a year of learning, was definitely a year of reflection, was definitely a year of looking at deeply what's working and not what's not working. And this is something I've talked about a lot, especially with my clients, like looking at what is working for you and let's keep doing that, and let's look at what's not working and let's not keep doing that, right? Like, what can we shift and change to make that start working for us, depending on what your goals are. And I will say another thing that I did not do as deeply as I should have last year was my goal setting. I this year I'm very disciplined on it. I've written out my goals. We sat down, my business partner and I, we sat down before the end of the year, a couple weeks leading up to the end of the year. And I'm really glad we did, because some other things came up personally, for us, for her, and we wouldn't have been able to have that meeting. So I'm really grateful we did it when we did it. So if you have not sat down and created your goals, if you have a business, and you haven't set your goals down for your business yet, please do that. And we'll do another podcast episode on just goal setting, but that's really important. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can always go back and revisit those goals. Don't write your goals thinking that they have to be carved in stone for the entire year. And I think when we think about that way, that they have to be, once I write this goal down, it has to be carved in stone for the entire year, we can keep ourselves from writing those goals and for setting those goals, because we feel like we're like tied to them or chained to them and can't tweak them. And that's so not true. So we definitely set out our goals, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to revisit them. We are. And the good thing about having goals written down, and I heard this through Sarah Blakely. She did I saw a reel that she did on LinkedIn. I think it was in December. So just a few weeks ago when I saw this, and it really hit me. And I was like, wow, it was a nice little wake up call for me, because I write down my goals, but I don't think I ever really I don't read them and look at them as much as I should. And now every day they're being read twice, and I'm saying them and I'm reading them and I'm touching the paper, and I'm really getting connected to what those goals are, with knowing that I can shift those if I want to or if I feel called to. So I'm not locked in to that. It's just these are the goals that I felt in the moment. And as long as I still want to keep going with those goals, I'm going to keep reading them and moving toward them, and figuring out what the steps are to make that happen. And when the reel that she was sharing, the video was, she was talking about, there was Harvard did what's the word I'm looking for? They did a study on graduates, and I want to say this was in the 1970s. I could be a little off, because I'm just going by memory on what I heard from her, and I only listened to the video once. But I think it was in the 1970s, and I'm pretty positive it was done by Harvard. But they asked the graduating class how many of them had set their goals. And 95% of the class raised their hand that they had their goals set. They knew what their goals were. Then they asked how many of the graduating class had written them down. And only 5% of the graduating class raised their hand. Well, they went back to all of those same people 20 years later, and to find out what their progress was, what they accomplished, where they were at in their life and in their careers. And that 5% of the people that had written their goals down made more money and income than the 95% of the remaining class graduates combined. So that 5% made more than the entire 95% of the rest of that graduating class combined. And that is the power of writing down goals. So that really was like, wow, if that's not going to inspire me to write down my goals and really connect with them on a deeper level than I did last year, then nothing will, right? So that was a real eye opener for me. So I hope that story and I hope that study helps you. And you could you could, if you want to know more about it, Google it. I'm just going from memory to share it with you. Thought it was really powerful. And it really opened my eyes to the power of goal setting. I always knew it was powerful, and I'm always I teach it because with my clients we always set goals, and I know when they are setting goals and I'm holding them accountable to get those goals accomplished, they get accomplished. But many times we don't always do it as deeply for ourselves as we should be doing it. So for you out there, whether you have personal goals, and another thing, your business goals, set them around your personal goals. So when you're sitting down to set your goals, what do you want to create for yourself personally? And then what are your business goals that are going to support that? Because many times, and this is what I did when I first started my business, was everything revolved around my business, and I hit burnout because I was so focused on building the business and I had no life, and my kids were getting the most exhausted version of me. And that leads me to one of the other challenges I had this year was getting as much time with my children and having as much fun with them as I wanted to. Didn't happen in 2024 as much as I would have liked it to. So that is a big goal that I've set and written down, and I connect to every morning and every evening. I even put it on that the weekends I have them during the week for school, and then every other weekend I'm divorced, so me and their dad swap. And he's a great dad, and he does things with them. He's always available, and we work very well, very very well together with our kids. And I decided I'm going to make sure that the weekends that I have them, because some weekends, when on the weekends I have them, it's just getting more into like, did you do your homework? Did you do this? And what do we have to do? And what are the activities we need to go to? And what are the errands we need to run to get ready for the week? I really made a commitment to myself that on those weekends I have them, I am focused on we're doing something fun. Whatever, every single, so that's at least twice a month, we are getting out and we're doing something fun. And that's going to just create so many more experiences. And I know that when we're committed to doing that, at least those 2 weekends a month that I have them, then that will even become more where we like do more things together. And we like the other night, my son and I sat outside with the fire, and he made s'mores, and we played a game, and then we came in and watched a movie. If you haven't seen Red One on Netflix, somebody recommended it to me. It's a great movie. Go watch it. Red One on Netflix. I think it was like number one. Was it on Netflix or Amazon? Don't quote me there. But Red One, it's a holiday movie, but it's super awesome. It was a really, really good movie. And him and I both enjoyed it. It's an action movie. My daughter didn't really want to watch a movie that night, so she did her thing. But he and I sat down, and it was a great time. So I highly recommend it. But anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you today. And there's going to be challenges that we had in 2024, and there's going also celebrations in 2024. So if you haven't taken the time yet, we're already a few days into January. If you haven't had a time taken the time yet to reflect on what your achievements are, what you can celebrate, and what worked for you in 2024, please do. And also take some time to reflect on, okay, what didn't work so well for me in 2024? Were there any challenges? Were there any hardships? What were they? And what do you want to create in 2025? And you get to go big. And I know we always say new year, new you. But if 2024 really wasn't your year, 2024 was not my year. I had great accomplishments in business and in the podcast, and I'm really excited about those and celebrating that. We're actually launching another podcast solely around business growth, and I'll share more with you about that as we're launching, and that's actually happening in the next week or so that you can, because this podcast is about being seen, being heard, being empowered. So if you are also a business owner and you want strategy, then you're going to want to also check out that podcast coming up, because it's going to be so good. We're talking with CEOs and business owners and leaders and executives on strategy that is working for them, and also challenges that they've faced and how they overcome their own challenges when they're faced with things that come up. And working with team, what does that look like? How to keep, things like scaling your business, growing revenue. What are new things that you're implementing this year? How to keep your team motivated, just different things around building and scaling a business. So that's going to be a different podcast. We're going to be really focused here on empowering you to be seen, to be heard, to step into your biggest version of you, of everything you want to create for yourself. And if you want something different, then you must choose something different. And I keep saying that to myself every day leading up into moving into 2025. If I want something different, I must choose. I get to choose something different. So, and you choose something different by really getting clear on what worked and what didn't work. And so, if you want any support on that, feel free to reach out. You could reach out to Heidi at HeidiSchock.com, and we will be coming to you with the next episode. Oh my gosh, let me just tell you, we have already some interviews that are been done for the 2025 season. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to knock your socks off. So make sure that you're tuning in every week for the Be She podcast. And if you, because we're going to be talking about different things like, I'll talk about the importance of podcasting. We're going to talk about it in the business one too, but I'm going to talk about that here because that goes along with being seen, being heard, getting out of your comfort zone. And if you know of any guests, of any people that you would like us to talk with on this show, please reach out to Heidi at HeidiSchock.com. Let me know who you think would be a great person to share their journey, to share their story of how they've overcome fear, how they've stepped into creating something different for them and empowering themselves or learning how to empower themselves to be seen and be heard and step into the best version of themselves. I would love to connect with them and bring them on the show. So thank you for listening. Happy New Year again. Happy 2025. I'm wishing you all of the joy, love, blessings, success, and prosperity that you desire in this next year. I will see you on the next episode of the Be She podcast. In the meantime, be empowered to be seen and heard.